Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Monday night live stream. How the hell is everybody? How was your weekend? What's everybody been up to? We've been painting more Warcry stuff and all the new stuff that came out this weekend. Sadly, I'm still waiting for mine to be delivered, so I've not got my hands on the new warbands yet, but that won't stop us chatting about them tonight. So, yes, another Monday, another bit of chat about Warcry. So today I thought we'd focus on now that we've got the six factions that we already knew about. We've got the terrain sets that we knew about. We've got the cards for the existing AOS factions that we know about. There's not really anything left that's being teased yet other than the two warbands in the book. So I thought we'd have a bit of a chat about what would we like to see in the future. What do we think so far? What would we like to see that we think's missing? What do we think we would see that we sort of is being teased or anything yet? So I know it's the game's only a fortnight old. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm kind of bored of it or anything like that. But now we know a bit more about it. Now we know what the aim of the game is. Now we get the aesthetic of where they're going with it. What's it all about? Where do we think it's going to go in the future? So yeah, we'll get onto that in just a second. First of all, let's have a few hellos. I'll try not to go on too long because the more people come in now these days, the longer it takes to say hello to everybody. But we do have Different Gear TV and good evening, Busey. How you doing, mate? Tom D's in as well. Steve Evans. Al Cluley's in as well. Good evening to you lot. Richard, even buddy. Christian as well. He's a key in there. A bit of an inside joke there. Christian, how are you doing, son? He says, I hope you all had a good weekend. Paul Palms is in, says, hola, chicas. Hola, soy ba. Tim Cafferty's in as well. 2 Plus Tough. Nice to see you, buddy. Nice to see the stuff that you're putting out as well for Warcry. Black's Cleric is in as well. Good evening, buddy. How are you doing? Just wanted to say it as well. You'll see in the top left-hand corner of the screen there. This is kind of people who've donated or they've pledged to my Patreon and that kind of stuff. So there's a few names in there. The one at the top there, Simon Moore, pledged during the week. I think it was like last week or something like that. He is now my $30 pledge there as well, Simon, which is Black's Cleric as well. So thank you very much, buddy. We've also got Billy Mark in there as well, who I think pledged kind of like, was it just before last week's show? For whatever reason, it wasn't showing up on the screen. And also Alan Rogerson as well, if he's in the chat, which I might have seen his name. They're my 3 latest Patreon subscribers. If anybody is interested in supporting the channel, there'll be links in the descriptions of all of my videos on how to access Patreon, and you can have a look through and see what you think of that. But yeah, thank you to all of my Patreons. Much appreciated. Al Krabby's in. Claudio's in as well. He said he's just finished all these preps for a 5-day metal festival tomorrow. Now beer, some tabletop talk, and maybe a bit of hobby time. More Vanguard terrain. Nice to see you getting every last ounce of hobby in made before you go off to your festival. Rui's in, Billy Mark's in. Good evening, Billy. I just mentioned you before. Robert Marshall's in as well. He says, have you got a link to the Weekender in October? Is there still spaces? I'm not sure if I can let me try and find a link to the Weekender. If you go into Facebook and you search for Top Table Legacy Weekender, you'll find it in there. We do still have a few spaces left. It's not completely sold out yet. We are limiting the numbers to make sure that it's quite comfortable in the gaming space. So we're limiting it to 80 people. And the place holds about 120, something like that. So there'll be plenty of space to get around. For those that don't know what it is, so myself and Jay and Steve from Top Table Gaming, who you'll have seen a lot of their Warcry battle reports, we host a 3-day weekend event from a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is basically it's the more the casual side of gaming. Really, we do have some organised events, and I believe Warcry is looking like it's going to be one of the wildcard events now, judging by what people have been voting for. But it's not so much kind of hardcore tournaments. It's more aimed at having fun, having a few drinks with a few friends, playing casual games. So anything that is organised. There's a later start in the morning, so you don't have to get up too early. There's less games in the day, so it's not too kind of tiring, and there's bigger gaps between them as well, so you've got time to have a bit of a wander around and have a chat with people and stuff between games. So yeah, plenty of stuff on that. I'll try and find a way to get a link up. I'm not sure if anybody can link it because I think it sometimes stops you linking websites and stuff in the chat, but we'll see what we can do with that one. What else we've got? We've got Alan Rogerson, just mentioned you as well, buddy. Good evening. Will C is in as well. He says he's painting stuff. Yes, summer's almost over. It's absolutely chucked it down the last couple of days here. It feels like it's over. We've got Skullmunchers in as well. Good evening, buddy. He's asking who painted the crow in the thumbnail, and it was just it was photoshopped from a GW one. So yeah, wasn't mine. I haven't got my bits yet. Glenn Griffin's in. Aggression is in as well. Where else we are? Aggression. It's just jumped there. Somebody made a donation. Up there is it. 2+ Tough. Thank you very much, buddy. Much appreciated. Really do appreciate that. Where were we at? My chat's jumped all over now. Yeah, Aggression's in. Black Cleric's in. Good evening. Stuart Noble's in as well. Glenn Seymour, VJ Morph, Flying Mammal. Good evening, Ruth. Now you're part of the Warcry cool kids. I swear your camera zooms in further every Monday. I think it's just the way I've set it up. I'm probably sitting a bit too close today, to be fair. Mountain's in as well. Christopher Warden's in. Matt says he's enjoying the Warcry hype at the minute too. Paul Palms is in. Tim Cafferty, VJ Morph, Marco. Phil Johnson's in as well. He said he was on holiday last week, so he just got round to building the terrain. Thanks so much for the video. You're welcome, buddy. Duffy Makowski, Claudio. Who else have we not spoken to? Richard Smith says, I can see commanders like Kill Team. Yeah, we'll start chatting about that stuff very soon. Jordan Graham's in, says, evening. Zingbo says, hello, I'm sort of here. You're in spirit, buddy, eh? Richard said he's just got home from a festival, managed to start a bit of paint on some Vanguard scarecrows. Mark Crowley's in as well. Good evening, buddy. Jason Collins, good evening. Says, happy to be here on the way home from work. I'd like to see some specialist heroes and card stat upgrades. Interesting. Tony's in as well, Mr. Spooky Thing. Good evening, mate. Fumble's in as well. Craig Lowther. Zero187. I think that was how I say that one as well. Douglas is in as well. Reluctant Artie. Good evening, mate. And Tom D and Cohen as well. Hello to everybody there. So I thought I'd try and rush through some of that this weekend. And 2+ Tough there is saying setting it in for some fun and wild speculation. That's what this is about tonight, really. It's not about kind of what's definitely going to happen or like sort of picking holes with the game or anything like that. It's more just now you've played it, now you've had your hands on the stuff. You know, let's have a bit of fun. Let's have a bit of speculation and what do we think we might see. And Robert Zunk is in as well. They're just sneaking it in at the end there. So, and Troy C as well. Nice to see so many friendly faces in tonight. We've got some good numbers as well this early. And Peter Nicholas sneaking in as well. Peter saying, did anyone hear about a new game from GW called Warcry? Yeah, I think one or two seem to be picking it up, mate. Jesse Hamill, Greg Cherry as well, and Tim Kelly. Good evening to all. Nice to see you all. So let's kick it off tonight then. Let's kick it off. Again, as always, if you want to ask me a direct question, please type at BlackJack Legacy. The chats are getting really, really busy these last few weeks with the Warcry stuff, and it's quite hard for me to go through everybody's comments. So if you really want to kind of catch my attention, at BlackJack Legacy, and it'll highlight on the screen if you've got a specific question. Yeah, so there's a few things in the book that we know about that we haven't seen yet. So one of those things is the Garganta. I've got my rule book with me tonight, and I've kind of put a couple of page markers in there as well, so I can remember what I wanted to talk about. So one of them is the Gargantuans as well, and the mounts. Now I had to double check tonight because I've not opened my the card packs yet. You know, the ones for the AOS factions. I hadn't opened them yet. I'd seen so many of them on the internet. I felt like I didn't need to open them because I haven't got those models yet. But I thought that Idoneth Deepkin were classed as mounts, and they're not. They don't have the mounted what's it called, rune mark. So we're waiting to see mounts. They're definitely a thing in the game. We're also waiting to see Gargantuan as well. So, and I've just seen there, Flying Man was just saying, did you see 2+ donated? I did, yeah. I'm sure I said thank you very much. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but yeah, I definitely did say thank you very much. Because the comment said he was settling in for a bit of wild speculation kind of thing. So yes, thank you very much. So yeah, so we're going to see Gargantuan at some point, and we're going to see mounts as well at some point, which is quite interesting because we haven't seen them yet in these standard packs. And I would have assumed if it was going to be part of the first wave, we might have saw it on some of the models coming from the existing AOS factions. So some part of expansion, some part of new factions, something like that, will definitely see us get mounted cavalry type kind of characters in there as well. Gargantuans, Am I saying that right? Gargantuan. Yeah, Gargantuan. I assume we'll probably see them in something like probably like a narrative play or a campaign expansion or something like that. It will be interesting to see if we see that kind of stuff coming into that, rather than sort of, if you want to stay with the very sort of organized player focused matched player, it will be good if those kind of things don't upset the balance too much, unless every faction gets one at the same time kind of thing, which I could I see that happening? It's Games Workshop, so I can kind of see most things happening when it comes to model releases, but I'm not sure whether we'd see like everybody getting that balance at the same time. So I can imagine they'll probably come through from some kind of campaign stuff. Somebody's just saying there, I think with Claudio as well, just saying, I'd like to see co-op, and I like the idea of them random monsters. I've also just seen a few more names there as well. Timbo Cleverly, since he had to change it, and Jeffrey Parent as well. Good evening to you too. So I think the thing with monsters, somebody else on the Facebook group mentioned about like sort of monster packs where you could almost like a campaign to go monster hunting, and I thought that sounded quite interesting as well. It feels like this game's quite free, and it's opening up a lot of options that we haven't got to kind of get bogged down by what we've seen in existing games, for example. So why couldn't we have kind of monster hunting kind of campaigns and stuff as well? 2+Tub is saying, do you think Gargantuan means the same thing in this scale of game? Like the Gargant is a Gargantuan in AOS, but would be something smaller, like a Korgoth be in Warcry. I'm not sure. I mean, it's at first thought, like I was thinking, is it just going to be like a big model, like a, you know, like almost like sort of ogre type, those bigger scale things. Then I was trying to think, would it be something like a Thunder Tusk type size? I'm honestly not sure. I mean, the board's not that big, is it? So the idea of having a lot of terrain doesn't really suit big based models. So I do wonder how big it's really going to be. It's not going to be kind of like anything too huge, I wouldn't have thought. So yeah, maybe getting a bit of a curveball with a name there. Troy C says, do you think GW is sort of waiting to see how it does, or are they letting people or they are letting people get into it? I think the way Games Workshop works, they'll already have stuff planned. So if you remember when, I don't know how many of you played Kill Team, but if you remember when Kill Team came out, not long after that launched, we saw the Rogue Trader boot was released, and in the Rogue Trader box, in the Rogue Trader box, it mentioned Commanders, and I think there was some confusion about. The rumor was that Commanders was meant to come out first, and for whatever reason it didn't. So they'd already planned out the kind of the next 2 or 3 waves of releases, and I've got no doubts. I think Warcry will be exactly the same. I've got no doubt that that'll be exactly the same. I get the feeling a lot of what comes with this might be more narrative than Kill Team was. Because Kill Team for me got spoiled a little was when the basic game got too many options, if you like. And what I meant by that was if you turned up to a gaming store, or you turned up to kind of your local GW or something like that, if you hadn't arranged the game in advance, there was too many different versions of the standard kind of one-off games that you could play. So you could turn up and somebody could be playing with commander rules and elites, and you just had the core standard stuff. That made it a bit messy for me. I get the feeling that was where Arena came in. That was where Arena came in to try and make a streamlined, organized player version of the game, and everything else was optional, and you can kind of take it or leave it and play it with your friends or whatever. I think they've learned from that, and I think Warcry will be less kind of optiony around the core matched player. And all of the options that come in, I think, will be more narrative. I think it's just a theory and just an opinion. VJ says, speaking of wild speculation, can you talk about your secret insider information yet? Did it happen? It still hasn't happened yet, mate. I am starting to wonder whether it's all been the plug's been pulled on it. But because GW works so far in advance, maybe it's still kind of bubbling in the background. I honestly can't say anything about it. But if it ever comes off, I will tell you. And if it hasn't come off within the next kind of like 2 or 3 years, I'll tell you. W. Soren, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Good evening and welcome to the chat. Says, could you see something like the Amble from Blackstone Fortress in Warcry. I think we will see kind of almost character packs, and maybe that's what we'll see with things like the Gargantuans, or maybe even the cavalry, not the cavalry, sorry, the mounted models as well. I think we will maybe see some kind of like sort of smaller releases like that. I think we'll obviously see expansions to the current factions as well. So we'll probably get another £30 box set, but with different models in, and that'll allow you to expand on what you've got and mix and match and kind of list build a little bit better than just buying 2 or 3 of the same boxes of what we got now. So I think they'll definitely build on them at some point. It wouldn't surprise me if we see more of the existing AOS factions being branched out as well. It seems like a bit of a no-brainer to, whilst I like the idea that it's just kind of this chaos kind of ridden world, I'm starting to warm to the idea of having more of the AOS factions involved. You can kind of craft your own narrative stories around them, but why would you not get people buying models that already exist? It's a quick way to boost the game up, to beef it up, and it's also a way to get people into AOS as well, which at some point, whether that is an intention from day one, at some point they want people to buy more and more models, don't they? So that wouldn't surprise me either. All Krabby is saying, will they add mounts like they added in Elite in Kill Team? I think the fact that we've got mounts as a rune mark would 100% bang on. We will definitely get them. Phil's saying, at the AOS Open Day, Jervis Johnson was talking a bit about having rules for AOS models in card packs meant it was easy to do more. Would expect to see tie-ins with AOS releases. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me as well if we start to see it more with them, the tie-ins when there's a new faction comes out for AOS. Do we see point cards coming in for it? I like the fact that it's cards because it becomes an easy way to update the game. You just do a new kind of set of card packs, and then you don't always have to update everything. You can just tweak the bits that's maybe a bit janky. But yeah, it is a quick way to start to use other models. But I like what they've done with the existing 6 warbands. We've got 2 more to come, which is the Scions of the Flame and, let me remember what they're called now. Scions of the Flame and Spire Tyrants, that's the ones. And the Spire Tyrants as well. So we do know we've got 2 more factions coming in. When I read about this, the Spire Tyrants, the first time I read it, they sound very gladiatorial. They're forged from sort of fighting in arenas and stuff. And the first time I read it, I thought they might be almost a bit like a mercenary faction, because it says they kind of, what was the exact word, and that made me think it the first time. It says something about they form mutually beneficial partnerships in order to survive in the harsh wastes of the Varan Spire. But I think what it means is, I think it just means that they're all from different backgrounds because they're just fighters in the arena, if you like. But they form a partnership basically because it's just mutually beneficial, really, not because they're kind of like from the same clans or stuff like that. So that'll be quite interesting. Billy Mark saying, I was thinking current warband expansions, maybe a box with new units and a leader. I think that the fact that you can only take 1 leader without a 1 leader rune mark would suggest we will definitely see more leader options. It will be daft if basically everybody is stuck with that 1 leader forever. So I think we'll definitely see some leader options coming in at some point. We've got Jack in as well from Shaggy Wargaming. Good evening, buddy. He's saying, how's everyone getting on with Warcry? I think we're all getting on pretty well with it. I've managed to completely paint all of the terrain from the core set. I've painted my Iron Golems. I've painted my Untamed Beasts. I'm 90% of the way through my Cypher Lords. I've got all of the Mausoleum stuff down here is all primed and built, ready for us to do next. And I'm waiting for the postman to bring all of my other stuff as well. So once that comes, I'll have more to be getting on with as well. So yeah, let's have a quick look in the chat. We got Stone Monk Gamers in as well. Good evening, buddy. He's saying, what was the question? Al saying, I think the eels have fly, but not the mount. Yeah, that's right. They do have fly, but not the mount. I had to check that tonight before I came on the live stream because I wasn't sure whether they did or not, and I wanted to double check that one. Fumble saying, having terrain very compatible with both Warcry and full AOS is super compelling too. Makes it feel better value for money. It was exactly the same with Kill Team as well. I don't have a lot of terrain, if I'm honest. It's not something I've really bought over the years, and one of the reasons I got into Kill Team was it it was kind of a way to, or a less expensive way to build up my terrain collection as well for sci-fi stuff. I think we'll definitely see that happening again, but I don't think we'll see like we did in Kill Team where warbands came with terrain. I think we'll see terrain sets, and I think we might even see smaller terrain sets. Maybe not with boards, but just to bulk out what we've already got, to bulk out existing stuff. But I think we'll definitely see more terrain sets as well. I think we'll also see more campaign books. I think the way that they've really spent a lot of time in the core rulebook of fleshing out a couple of kind of narrative missions for each of the different warbands. They've put a lot of effort into that to just kind of leave it sitting there. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see a much more narrative approach to expansions in this game than we did in Kill Team. Kill Team just felt like, here's a few extra rules, here's a few extra models. I think it feels like this will be more narrative focused, I think, whilst still being kind of able to play as a match play game as well. Troy is saying, do you think they will add more terrain instead of recycled AOS stuff? I think the stuff that came in the core box wasn't recycled. I think that was all new stuff, wasn't it? I don't think they will do new stuff, if I'm honest. I think we'll see more recycled stuff. They did the same thing with Kill Team. It's really expensive to kind of to get molds together for new terrain. So unless they're planning to launch a new terrain pack for AOS, I'd be very surprised if we get brand new stuff. If you think about what we saw in Kill Team, there was a lot of the what was it called? The Sector Mechanica stuff. There was the or like the stuff with the drillers and the platforms and the tanks that was already existing. We saw the was it like the Elder Forests and stuff as well? We saw those kind of weird triangular forest stuff. We saw a lot of the Orky stuff, the different what was it called again? The stuff with the crane and all. I forget the names of it now. But yeah, we saw a lot of existing stuff repackaged. I think we'll see more of what's already out there. But it will be nice to see some of the old stuff coming back as well, because in the way the Skullvein Manse tower came back, it would be nice if they brought something like that back to give a bit more kind of height levels, specifically sort of bringing stuff in that gives you more height to the game, or even if they bring in more walkways and stuff that sort of connect existing terrains together. VJ is saying, speaking of cross-system use, lots of people using Underworld warbands. There's Warcry warbands with Beastgrave coming. I hope we see more of that. I think the problem is it kind of limits slightly. I mean, people obviously can use them in just like a count as type thing. For example, it's like the same with Iron Jaws, where you could have one of the Iron Jaws, the warband from Shadespire. You can use them, but the kind of the cards basically don't show you those exact ones. I haven't actually my Iron Jaws cards didn't come in my original shipment. I'm waiting for them to come in the second one as well. There was Iron Jaws, the Stormcast Eternals, and the Bone Splitters. I forget, there was a third one. There was three didn't come, so I haven't actually seen those cards yet. I've noticed Al's just saying that Iron Jaws have 3 options for leader. Yeah, I've not seen the cards yet, mate, unfortunately. So yeah, I think we'll definitely kind of we'll see some of that stuff. Tom's saying, I love the ruler. I must admit, I think it's awful. I like the idea it kind of bends and stuff like that, but it's just it feels such a novelty item. It's the kind of thing I'd expect to get like in a Secret Santa at work or somebody. Skullmunch is saying Warcry Apocalypse 8x8 mass battle game. I think the fact that all of the boards match together. So I've got 2 boards so far, a third one on the way. I think there's going to be a 4th set as well. I used to play quite a bit of Kill Team where we'd put 2 boards together and play 4 players, and it really was fun. The only thing I would say in this is, because in Kill Team you had quite long range shooting, it didn't matter that you didn't get round the board so fast. So I do wonder how it'll play when there's not a lot of range shooting and your movement doesn't get you around the board too fast. I don't want to spend the game just doing move if you like. And if certain objectives deploy miles away from where you are, you could just spend the whole game kind of chasing it. I haven't played any multiplayer games yet to say yes, I know that's what's going to happen, but it'll be interesting anyway. But it'll look fantastic, I think, which is the main thing. Stonemonk Gamer saying more and more, I think a second starter set would be fantastic for added terrain options and building height. I considered that. There's a store local to me is selling the starter box for £75. And I thought, do you know what it is? It's going to give me some options for my warbands, for the 2 warbands. It's going to give me more terrain. Like, it's not bad, but I have so much stuff at the minute. I don't need to be buying multiples of the same thing at the minute, that's for sure. NonX1990 says, just finished Untamed Beast. I painted the entire weekend. And it's really nice to see people seem to be like knocking these out relatively quick. I was determined this time I wasn't going to spend too long painting stuff. I was going to try and just do basic paint jobs, use contrast paints, use washers, use dry brushing the best I can. And actually, they've turned out really, really nice. I mean, they're not going to win any tournaments, but kind of tabletop ready from 2 foot away as like a warband together collectively on all the painted terrain. I think they look pretty good. I'm really, really kind of happy with them. There are some much better painters out there. But you know what it is? I've nearly finished 3 warbands and a full terrain set in kind of, what is it, a week and a half, something like that? Is it about that now? Did they only come out a week? Is the game only 2 weeks old? Or is it a week? Oh, I forget now. I'm trying to think what we did last weekend. Anyway, regardless, I've managed to get nearly 3 warbands and a full terrain set done. That's way more than I've painted in such a long time. Arch Angus is in as well. Good evening to you too, buddy. It's just jumped off the top of the screen, so I've completely lost what I was about to read. Where was it? Oh, where is it at? You see, I love to see more leaders with different abilities to change the gameplay of an army. Yeah, definitely. It'd be nice to mix it up with where different leaders give a completely different kind of play style. Flying mammal shouting crows, crows, crows. I can't wait to get mine. They're the ones I'm looking forward to painting the most. Sean said, all that stuff painted, but how many times have you played? I've played more than you think, mate, actually. I've probably played about 6 games, I think, now. So I have been playing with non-painted stuff, but on that first weekend, I got everything built. So I could play the game, and I've been kind of playing with the stuff I've not been painting, if you like. So yeah, I'm still getting games in. Cohen is saying, I'd like to see more AI beasts in play, especially if they were gargantuan and part of the narrative of victory conditions. It's interesting you mention that, because I highlighted this in the book as well, that basically it says in the book, so it mentions about the Raptrix and the Chaos Furies. It also says, I'll hold this up so I'm not speaking in the microphone as well. It says, the wilds of the Varanspire are suffused with the Chaos energy, the mutative power, I can get my words out, mutative power of this unnatural magic gives birth to all manner of horrors, from the bladed Scars Grid to the venom-spewing Blight Serpent and dreaded Corpse Gorger. So he does kind of tease a little few more beasts. Now, whether they're going to end up being stuff we can buy, I don't know at this stage. But it's interesting that they're already kind of teasing it to say, look, these are not the only beasts that are out there. So I really like what they bring to that. I know they're just part of the campaign stuff at the minute, but I'd like to see them come in as kind of, I think we chatted about it last week, really, about almost kind of like the walkers in Walking Dead, a bit like a sort of like a moving terrain, if you like a dangerous terrain type thing that just gets in the way and can do certain things that can maybe swoop in and attack. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we get more stuff like that. AMC's in. Good evening. Says hires more artifacts maybe as well. Yeah, I'd imagine something like that as well. I mean, the way those cards are set up, there's nothing stopping them putting in more twists, more victory conditions in card packs. I know we get the deployment stuff, the battlefield cards when you buy the terrain boxes as well. And I think they're a nice addition. And I also like the way that they kind of mix in the core set with them as well. And I know some people are complaining saying, I bought this terrain pack and I don't have the starter set, so there's half the cards I can't use. I get people are saying that, but think of them more as a bonus. Basically, it's like half a pack. There's a pack to be used with this, and then there's some bonus ones that you can use if you got the terrain. And there's nothing stopping you using your own terrain too as well. Ruth saying the fun increases every time we play, but still not admitting it. You know you love the game. Let's not get away from it now. You know you're enjoying it. That's the main thing. Will saying predicting Varanspire fighting pits, mentioned it in Spire Tyrants. as Kill Team Arena. Oh, that'll be interesting. I'd like to see some kind of terrain that gave you a fighting pit. That would be a nice terrain pack, or like a nice battle, like a terrain battlefield pack thing, like if you like, some kind of fighting pit. I'd like that. Where we are, Stormmonk is saying that the ruins are much nicer than I expected at first. Yeah, they are really nice actually. I was surprised as you paint them up, you kind of see all the detail on them. They really are nice. Well, I try and pronounce this name now. Uterifson 9. Try that one, welcome to the chat, by the way. Because the mutual beneficial line is probably just there to justify having a hint of civilization in such a tough place as the 8 points. Yeah, I mean, I kind of mentioned this on last week's live stream as well. I urge everybody to go and listen to the Stormcast podcast about Warcry, because it really does put a bit more flavour and background into it. I bought the anthology as well, and I haven't managed to get any free time to sit and read that, but I'm looking forward to getting more into the background. I've read through what's in the core rulebook, and that's kind of like sort of wet my whistle, if you like. So I mean, it's the first time in a long time I've really been interested actually in the background and the lore of the game. Not probably since I probably played Malifaux. Really, was the last time I was really interested in the actual setting of the game and the theme of the game. Normally, it's as long as it's got nice models and it's got easy enough rules to get my head round, I'm pretty happy with that. I've always been more about the game and less about the narrative, but this game really is pulling me in, actually. On Mugwatch tonight, we have French beer. So, yeah, we're not... no fancy mugs tonight, so just little bottles of beer. It's too warm to be drinking anything that's not this cold. Where are we at? Jackson, I wonder if GW will sell the warband so far in mini blister packs as the other AOS warband cards. I'm not sure if we'll do full repacks. Nobody's really complaining about it at the minute, are they? But we'll see what happens there. I'm assuming there's some chat there, VJ, about being play your purchases in multiple systems is a big bonus. I think they'll be missing the trick if they don't start to do some kind of crossover. So being able to use Underworld's minis, being able to kind of use the new warbands in AOS as they have with Slaves. It is Slaves to Darkness, isn't it? It makes a really kind of interesting thing, and I think there's 2+ tough they're saying as well. Mixing Underworld units gives some great alternative sculpts. There's not a lot of option for kit bashing these ones. However, they are really, really dynamic poses. We will see a lot of kind of mirror matches, I think, especially in the early days until we get options. But it doesn't take away from the fact it's a great game. Timbo is saying, I'll be going to use Sepulchral Guard and Zarbag's Gits for sure. Yeah, I've got those Sepulchral Guard ones. They're some of the nicest skeleton models I think I've ever had. Everybody having a chat with each other there. Glyn's saying, how dense the terrain is the ruler actually effective, or is it a little gimmicky? Personally, for me, I think it's a bit gimmicky. It's more likely to get in the way than actually help for bending round stuff. But hey, I haven't tried it, so I probably shouldn't criticise it. Furious George says, whoop, just jumped on the top of my screen now. Where was it? Bloody hell, there's a lot of chat tonight. It's going to take me a while to catch up on this stuff. Furious George says, 103 watching. Holy moly. Can't stay, but be sure to watch later on tonight. Hope everyone is well, including our hairless leader. It's a bit too hairy at the minute, mate. I need to give it a shave. And it's up to 111 now. Christian said, I wouldn't mind seeing the Godsworn Hunt released as a faction for Warcry. They do seem to fit, don't they, with that very kind of that barbarian kind of aesthetic to them. I'm sure somebody's already done some fan made rules for them. But yeah, it would be nice to see if they fit in at some point. Troy is saying, do you like the cover rules? I like that they're simple but a bit weird. I kind of got embroiled in a bit of a Facebook conversation about this one tonight. I find them really, really clear. It's really obvious what how it works. All you have to measure is the distance to the opponent type thing and the distance to the terrain. And if the person you're attacking is within half an inch of the terrain and you're closer to the terrain than you are to the person you're attacking, they're in cover. There's no questions. It's black and white. It's straight down the line. It does, like in my video, it does throw up a couple of janky kind of sort of situations where you can both be on the same side of a wall. I think it's been kind of like hashtag mime cover or something like that people are talking about. It does throw up these weird situations where there can be nothing between the two of you. In theory, you've got a clear line of sight with nothing between you, but one model is still classed as being in cover. Now, in reality, I think they'll happen a lot less frequently than people are kind of making out at the minute. So I don't necessarily think it's it's not a game breaker, if you like. But I like the fact that the rule is really, really clear. I think they'll probably FAQ it at some point. And what they'll say is that there has to be an intervening piece of either terrain or obstacle. They'll probably reword it or something like that, I think, just to get away from those weird situations. So I can see it changing purely just so it looks nice. But it's the same question with the line of sight stuff. So the line of sight rule basically is really, really clear. If you can see any point on your opponent's model from any point on your model, you've got line of sight. It doesn't take into the line of sight in cover rules. As long as you can see them, you can attack them. And then if you can attack them, then cover rules kick in and stuff. But then you get questions like, well, those metal grates that you get inside the kind of in the archways, you can see through them. So does that mean you can hit them with an axe through those little holes? And I guess again that's one of those things where you'd probably agree with your opponent before the game. Look, you can't hit each other through those grates. Like there's nothing can fit through there. You'd never be accurate enough with an arrow, and you couldn't fit an axe through it. So let's just say that they're kind of like line of sight blocking, if you like, for the ease of the game. But I like the fact that they've really kind of gone to make the rules really, really clear. So there's no kind of edge cases like, well, what are they trying to say here? What are they trying to say there? The rules seem really, really straightforward. It either is something or it isn't something. I think the problem is that it does throw up the odd weird situation. I'll say, and they look awesome, mate. I'm assuming you mean about my painted stuff. I've been painting my Cypher Lords up tonight as well, and I've gone for like a purple colour with them, which looks really, really cool at the minute. So I'm happy with them. VJ is saying, as someone who got most of the existing warbands, but I've had enough of GW, I'm glad I'm going to have something else to play them in. I don't feel I wasted my money as much. I'm assuming you mean you got all of the Underworld stuff, mate. Yeah, I completely agree, mate. I completely agree. Being able to use them in other stuff is really, really good. What was it I saw today? There was something. Was it a warband or something where somebody had matched? Oh, I forget what it was now. Was it the Godsworn Hunt models where somebody had matched them up to the Untamed Beasts, so you can actually take like 1-for-1 matches if you like. I think it might have been there. I could be completely off. Zingbo saying all these kill team gaming's 1v1v1, which is chaotic but fun. We've had some awesome games, mate, of like a 3-player and 4-player kill team. Says kill team only provides match player missions for 3 and 4 players, but Warcry only supports 3 and 4 player in open, which is a difference. Yeah, because it gives a bit of a slightly different kind of play style to it, doesn't it, completely? Douglas is saying he's painting now. That's not normal for me. The game's just captured my imagination. I'm completely on board with you, mate. I have blasted through this stuff, and I mentioned today on a comment, I think it was like in the community group on YouTube, I'd said like, I'm painting because I want to paint. I'm not painting to try and get stuff done for a video. I'm not painting because I'm going to review something for somebody and I've got a deadline or something like that. I am just painting because I absolutely love the model and I'm loving the game. And it's been quite a long time since I can say that, if I'm honest. We've got Jamie in as well. Says, hey, good evening, fella. How are you doing? Fumble saying contrast paints a large range of new game systems with a limited number of models. Pretty good thinking from GW. Because they're such a big company, it takes them a little while to kind of catch up with what's happening in the market. Because their turnaround for like doing new stuff is like 12, 18 months, even 2 years down the line. So when they see something changing in the market, it can take them a little while to catch up. But I think with Warcry, they've learned from what they did with Underworld. They've learned from what they did with Kill Team. AOS Skirmish didn't really kind of pick up a crowd, I think, that they hoped. But I feel like they've really kind of nailed it with this one. Oh, just kicking my microphone there. I feel like they've really nailed it, and there's just something like it's almost like a bit of a perfect storm. It's all just come together at the right time. contrast paints coming out, making things like sort of more simple to paint and still look very effective. I've certainly been using contrast paints mixed in with kind of existing methods. So a lot of skin tones I've been using contrast paints. When I've done my cipher loads tonight, I literally lined them all up and just went through them one by one and painted all the skin on them. I did go back with the Untamed Beasts and try and do a little bit of highlighting on the skin as well, just to take away some of the sort of where the washes, where the contrast paint hadn't maybe settled quite so well. But then I've just gone over other bits as well, and I've just given them a kind of a base coat and then maybe an Agrax wash over the top or something like that, and then a dry brush maybe to pick them up again. Just little basic kind of painting methods really, and I feel like I'm kind of blasting through them now. Troy saying the Sylvaneth Wildwoods make the core box terrain look amazing. I've always fancied some of those Wildwoods actually. I might pick one or two up just to kind of just to add into it. Christian shouting to hit that like button, people. Please do. Yeah, these live streams never get as many likes as my normal videos because I think people are normally just watching them, but it does help to kind of to tell YouTube people are watching and to kind of get it out there. So yeah, do appreciate it if you like the video. Even if you come back later on as well and drop a comment as well, that all helps to get the video shared. Glynn saying next game Garrick Reavers are being used. That's what I saw. It was the Blood Reavers. I think there was almost like a like for like model for each of the Untamed Beasts, and they were using, I forget what it's called now, but they kind of like that almost like devil dog looking thing with the kind of like the fanned out neck that come in the original AOS core box with the Blood Reavers. They were using that for the I forget what it's called, the tusk, the dog thing. I'm terrible with names. Richard saying I was really hoping for, good evening Richard Smith by the way, he says really hoping for damage over time from Splintered Fang abilities. Yeah, I think that would make more thematic, right, where they kind of they wound them with poison and poison kind of carries over turn to turn. But I think it's probably just one of them things that just maybe slows the game down or complicates it a little bit more than it needs to. But you're right, it would have been nice almost if it said like at the end of the turn they take 2 or 3 damage, and that might wipe the odd 1 or 2 out. That might be quite interesting. Or you roll on a d6, and every model that got hit that turn sort of takes some more damage maybe. Brian Sheenton as well. Good evening, mate. Says hoping for Wandering Giants. Would we want to see that? I'm not sure the board's big enough for Wandering Giants. That's the problem. Troy saying we'd love more verticality. Yeah, I think so as well. I would like to see that from terrain sets. Even if there's another terrain set of the core box stuff comes out, that would be good. Where are we up to? Sean's just saying there are mentions of more wild beasts in the Warcry anthology. Even better, mate. Yeah, I've not had a chance. It's weird. I've spent so long listening to audiobooks with the amount of driving I do with my day job and stuff that actually sitting down reading a book feels really difficult now. I feel like I've never got the time to just sit down and read. I almost get itchy feet and I want to be doing something else because I'm so used to listening to a book while I'm driving or listening to a book while I'm painting or listening to a podcast while I'm kind of doing something else. It feels weird just sitting and reading. It feels like such a long time since I've done it. That's terrible, isn't it? Stormon Gamer says, controversial idea, catacomb labyrinth style terrain like Zone Mortalis. Less height but more obstacles and dangerous cave-ins. From a thematic point of view, that sounds really, really cool. I just wonder whether the way that Kill Team had terrain rules, I wonder if that's just another thing that would just kind of complicate a nice, simple rule set. But thematically, I love it. I think it's really cool. Alan saying he's done the first 2 stories in the anthology, The Unmade and The Cypher Lords. Really well written and great job deepening the story. Really looking forward to reading them, mate, yeah. Jamie saying, Andy, when you're free, would you like to pop down and play some games? We have a nice set up upstairs now. Jamie, 100%, mate. I was just chatting to, what's he called now? James Joyce, or what, the lad that I was chatting to when I came down for the demo that Saturday. He messaged me the other day and we've been chatting as well, and he was saying about him going down there. I definitely want to get down. I'm looking to get more games in, mate, and certainly play against more people. So 100%, mate, especially now I've got my stuff painted. Definitely be down at some point. I'm looking for the baby monitor. I'm on child duty today as well. Oh, it's behind us. It's fine. Troy's saying 2+ tough Warcry setting law ripe for a video, and he said he's working on it. Yeah, if anybody hasn't checked out 2+ tough, I'm sure you probably have, because I think he's got like 3 times the amount of subscribers I have. If you haven't checked it out, please do though. We've got Pete in as well. He said, I think the use of the word I think it's the use of the word cover. I view it more like ability to swing a weapon close to something. Yeah, it's actually, I'll read what Sean's saying. This is what he said. I think the cover rule should be reworded to say terrain should be closer to both the attacker and defender than each other, to imply it's between you. I think that just complicates things, mate. I'd rather they just said it's exactly as it says, but you must be able to draw a line between the two fighters that must pass through the terrain, if you like, because it's mentioned something like that in the line of sight rules. It says if you can draw a line that doesn't pass through terrain or something, you've got like sight to them or something like that. It's weirdly worded. But yeah, if they just say it's got to be intervening, the terrain must be intervening sort of between them. I think that'll clear it up really. But yeah, I can imagine it'll get cleared up. Where are we at? Sorry, I got sidetracked there. I just had another donation as well. Thank you very much, Different Gear TV. Very, very appreciated, buddy. I really do appreciate that. Tim was saying, easiest solution to cover rules, forget all about them. Yes. That's just jumping around. The chat is busy tonight, folks. There's plenty in, and it keeps on my screen. I've kind of got it as a pop out on the chat, and I can be reading it down, and all of a sudden a slug of comments will come in, and it'll shoot up the top, and I have to try and find out where we're up to. Yeah, Stormmonk's just telling me there they matched the Untamed Beast to the Corn models. I've got them about 10 minutes behind the chat. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Christian saying to Stormmonk, it makes sense. It would be impossible to hit through it. I'm learning by watching, but the cover rules as written would mean that technically you could attack. You must be. You're in a. Oh, that's Christian saying attacking through the grates. Your target would get cover as the attacker is closer to the raid than their opponent. Right? No, mate. They would only get cover if they were within half an inch of it. So if the person being attacked is within half an inch of the grates, then they would get cover. Because technically the terrain is closer to the attacker than it is to the person being attacked, because obviously it's in the middle of them, so it will always be closer than the person is. I think that's why it's designed to mean in between, but that's not what it says. So there are some options where it kind of works out. But yeah, as long as the person being attacked is within half an inch of the terrain feature, the obstacle, then they are eligible for cover. If they're outside of that, then they're not eligible for cover. W. Soren is saying, with 2 pre-announced factions that are coming, do you think it will be in time? Do you think we would be the time to see some type of monstrous mini set as well? I'm not really sure. I guess. I mean, I'm trying to think time-wise. They released a lot in a very short space of time. I have spent way too much money too quickly, really. However, I don't regret a penny of it. What I would say is, I think we're going to probably get a small amount of time now. 40k is obviously getting all of its new Space Marine Codex stuff that's happening now as well. I think AOS is probably due some new stuff. We've got Beast Grave, or whatever it's called, coming soon as well, autumn time. We've got some more Blood Bowl stuff coming. So I think it'll be maybe another month or two before we probably see any Warcry stuff. However, I'm not sure if they'll just come with the next set of factions or not. So that's kind of where I'm trying to get out now. I wonder whether we'll see. I can't imagine they're going to bring more terrain sets out yet. There might be a bit of a gap before we see that. But I do wonder whether we'll see both of those factions and maybe something else come as a weekend's releases. Who else we've got? We've got Michael posting in as well. It says, love the stream. Thank you very much, Michael. And I've just got down there to where Different Gear did a super chat as well, donation. Thank you, buddy. Really, really do appreciate it. Anybody that does donate, either through Patreon or through the super chats here tonight, or if anybody kind of buys anything from my affiliate links, either at Element Games or at Amazon, all of that money goes back into the channel. It goes into buying stuff like these games. It goes into when I've been to visit kind of companies and stuff, and I've had to kind of pay for fuel and hotel bills and that kind of stuff. It pays for the camera, the microphone, the lights, all that kind of stuff. It's not like I'm kind of like going away on foreign holidays with people's donations. Everything that I get goes into a savings pot, and then when I need to buy something for the channel, it comes out of that savings pot. And the idea is at some point in the future, I'd like to get to a point where I can kind of quit my day job and I can start to do this as a bit of a part-time gig with the money that comes in on a month-by-month basis. But until then, I'm just going to keep reinvesting that money back into the channel. So that's where your money goes if you do donate anything. Just to kind of be really clear and transparent about that. Jason says, I can totally see the next expansion being like the Blackstone Fortress one, where it's a narrative monster pack but with new terrain cards and introducing gargantuan and mounts as chaotic beasts. I'm not that familiar with Blackstone Fortress, mate, if I'm honest, so I can't really kind of draw comparisons with that. But the way you describe it there would not surprise me, actually, if it's something along them lines. So we're still having a bit of a chat here about the about obstacles and stuff like that. I'm trying to kind of to read back over it now. The Skullmuncher is saying, I totally agree with you with obstacle rules only restricts movement, doesn't mention anything about attacks. Yeah, so basically, if you can see the person, and the rule for being able to see the other person is if any part of your model can draw a line to any part of the other model. So that's the only thing that it mentions for being the ability to attack. So even if there's terrain between the two of you, if you can see over it, or you can see kind of round it, or there's a gap in the terrain, like the grates, in theory, if you can, any part of your model can draw a direct line to any part of the other model, you can attack. So that's the first bit out of the way. The cover rules then come in as a separate kind of thing. Cover only counts if you can attack anyway. If you can't attack, there's no need for cover. So if you're on the other side of a wall and you can't see that model, cover's irrelevant because you can't attack anyway. It's only when you can see the model and then the cover rule kicks in. So the grates are a bit of a funny one, really. If you start seeing certain weapons can poke through them and certain ones can't, it just kind of bogs the game down a bit. I personally just play it. I say that those grates are as good as kind of like blocked off. Everybody's kind of moving around too fast to be worrying about trying to poke a spear through holes in the fence. So I kind of play them that they're blocking terrain. Timbo saying, haven't we all spent too much? My mate Jason's just been away on holiday for 2 weeks. He's not really kind of been bitten by the Warcry bug yet, and because he's not been around, I've not managed to kind of badger him about it. So we went for a couple of beers yesterday afternoon, so we have a chat about how was his holiday and stuff, have a bit of a catch up about Warcry and things. And he said, so how much have you spent so far? So I got my phone out with my calculator, kind of worked it all out, and it was like, oh shit, I didn't realise. So, and I said to him, look, if you're going to get into it, don't spend any money yet. Because between us, we buy pretty much bits of all sorts. So don't spend anything yet. I've got everything. Just come round and play it. We'll have a few games. I think he's coming round on Wednesday night, and we're going to have a few games as well. But I can see as soon as he has a couple of games, it'll be like, yeah, next day, straight out buying himself a warband. Paul's just saying he's bought the Rangers of Shadow Deep book, making a terrain board for Gasland, so figuring might as well get something else to play on it. Why the hell not, mate? And Tom is saying, read somewhere in the book saying you can't attack through terrain. I just don't remember where. I'll have to read that, mate, because I'm not sure. No, I can't remember reading that. Voltmans is in it. Good evening, buddy. He says, we'll be muttering that cover rule in his sleep tonight. Do you know what it is? Like I say, I kind of got embroiled in a bit of a conversation about it on Facebook today. And it's more because a lot of people are getting the wording of it wrong about saying things like, if the attacker is closer to the defender than the defender is to the obstacle, and like I went through it a million times to make sure I got it nice and clear. Ooh, kick my microphone, sorry there, if that made a loud bang. I went through it a million times to make sure I had it clear in my head when I was doing that rules video last week. And I do completely understand that rule now. I know exactly what the words of it are. I know exactly what it relates to because I went through that book with a fine-tooth comb trying to kind of make sure I hadn't missed anything. But there are a lot of people complaining about it, but they're getting it wrong. And that's part of my problem. Like, it's basically, yes, that situation where you can have two people on the side of a wall fighting against each other and one of them gets a cover bonus. Thematically, I can kind of build a story around it where they're not really static. They're kind of moving around, and as one of them throws something, he kind of pushes away from the wall and stuff. So I can build a story of it in my head. But I just like the fact that it's just really clear. It's really clean. There's no kind of like, you know, are you partially in cover? Are you in full clean sight? Are you kind of like, do you get full cover? Do you get half cover? I'd rather it wasn't within half an inch. I'd rather you had to be in base contact, and then that would do away with some of the kind of the weirdness of some of the rules, where one person can be in cover from the other one, but the other one can't be in cover from the original one, if you like, because one's closer or whatever it is. I'd rather it was base contact, and I'd rather it said something about where the obstacle had to be intervening between them, that you had to draw a line between the two models, and that terrain had to sort of dissect or bisect that line. That would have been better from a thematic point of view and a visual point of view. But otherwise, the rule's really clean. Where we Paul's just saying his internet went down. Timbo's saying, totally agree with the greats. Had it in a game yesterday. Could have used the first Fang Spear ability through a grate to pull him off an objective. Elected not to do it as it felt a bit shitty. Yeah, I mean, I just can't imagine the size of those grates. There's not a lot of weapons. Like, you couldn't swing an axe through it. Even a spear. If you poked your spear through that, they would just grab it off you and pull it out your hands, and there's nothing you could do about it. So I'd kind of personally, I play it as that it blocks. It blocks basically weapons. You can't do it. Claudio's saying, I think GW every week pre-order helped spending more than you initially thought, but nice to see something you're so much into, mate. It was a real shame they were so close together. Like, I'll be honest, I wanted about a month between the releases, but luckily I saved up a bit of hobby money for it, so I had the money to spend on it. But yeah, it was just a shame it all came at once. It's good for the game because it brings in lots of options, but I am a bit of a completionist when it comes to that kind of stuff. I don't feel I need to buy everything GW sell, but if I find a game, and I'm the same for any game to be fair, whether it was Vanguard or anything else, if I find a game that I really do like playing, I'll become a bit of a completionist with it. As Prime is in as well, says good morning to you too, sir. How are you? And Mark, is it Sosby? Said he's built and painted his Warcry terrain this weekend. Use your video to make sure I built it right. Super helpful, thanks. You're welcome, buddy. I mean, it's one thing I will say is it's came to light as well, and I don't know how best to address this really, because the video has had something like 24,000 views on it now, so it's a bit late. I would have to take the video down, remake it, and upload a new one, to which most people probably wouldn't see it at that point. Where the spikes at the back of the platform, I think on one of the cards, that platform gets used as a bit of a bridge. Now, people are saying not to glue that spike on at the back, that I say, like, glue it on in the video. At that point, I don't think I'd seen that card, and it wasn't until the video had been up a few days that it kind of got highlighted. However, you can still use that platform across the top like a bridge, if you like, without it. Or you could put it underneath as well and treat that as just difficult terrain. So it's not game breaking. It doesn't cause any major problems if you built it that way. But just for transparency, I've pinned it as a comment in that video to say that there's a slight change to it as well. But it doesn't really change the way that the terrain works, and it doesn't really cause any problems. So I'm not going to pull the video down or anything like that because of it. DJ Nuts is in as well. It says, at the same situation with a spear thrower versus his ogre, tried to look it up and just decided to say the great slots in windows are just the same as solid walls. Yeah, I think it's definitely that, mate. Uterf son, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, buddy. Says, yeah, terrain video was really useful. And Claudio saying, just make a comment over the video. You can't put a comment over the video. So when you're watching the video, you can't put a comment. YouTube have stopped doing that now because that would have been the right way to do it. All I can really do, I've only got two options. One is I put a comment and I pin the comment so it's the first comment on the video underneath it, and that's what I've done. The other option is to completely take the video down and remake it. But the problem is if I take it down and remake it, those people won't get to see it because it'll just get lost in the algorithm now. I hit the perfect storm. I got the video done at the right time. It went up at the right time, and luckily everybody was building their terrain at that time. So the video did really well. I mean, that video has been up just over a week now, and like I say, it's at about 25,000 views now. It's like it's my second or third best video ever, and it's only been up about a week or something like that. So yeah, it's not worth me kind of doing anything with it now. Mark saying, cheers for the heads up about the terrain issue. It doesn't bother, but I appreciate the mention. Yeah, the information I had when I made the video was the same information that was kind of shared around the community. I just pulled it all into one place and made the video. And it's only kind of come out, I think, once people have started to play and pull that terrain card out. When they've had a look at it, and it's almost like, oh, I shouldn't have glued that back bit on. But it doesn't change the game, if you like. It's one card, and it's not the end of the world. Glenn saying, will you do a video for the other two sets? I haven't done a video for the Mausoleum one made because, to be fair, there's no wrong way. There's only one way to build it. It's just buildings and walls basically. So you can't build it wrong. And then the other set, I'm still waiting for it to come. It's not arrived yet. But from what I've seen of the pictures, again, I think there's only one way to build it. So I don't think they need them made. But if anyone ever comes out in the future like that, I'll definitely do one. It's saying the pronunciation is fine, don't worry mate, but the terrain video is another good example why YouTube removing annotations was a bad idea. Yeah, the annotation would have been the perfect thing just to kind of flash up on the screen while people are watching. There's basically nothing I can do about it short of taking that video down really. And it's such a minor thing, I don't think it's really worth kind of like sort of taking it down now. Michael is saying, I try to justify his purchases by deciding if I can use models terrain for multiple uses. For example, I plan using the minis for D&D, the terrain for Frostgrave and Vanguard. Yeah, I'm exactly the same, mate. I don't have a lot of fantasy terrain. I bought a little bit for Vanguard. I bought one of the Mantix terrain sets, which has got like tents and trees and stuff in it. And it's all right, but it's not the GW terrain. It's not the nice big buildings and stuff. I haven't got any of that. Christian in the chat there tonight made me some amazing trees as well, so they'll get used as well. So I am starting to build up my terrain now, but it's took a little while, and things like Kill Team and things like Warcry have really helped me. And £55 for those terrain boxes, I don't think's really a bad price when you get the tokens in there, you get the board in there, you get the cards in there, and all that terrain as well. And there's enough to fill a board, so yeah, I'm happy with those packs. Barry says, I can't even tell you how many friends I've shared your Warcry terrain video with. Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, it's weird. It's one of those things that it's like, it seemed like an obvious thing to do at the time, and I almost didn't do it because I thought, well, it's one of them videos, like, surely everybody must know about this by now. But then I thought, you know what it is, if it stops one person from building the terrain completely wrong, because I should rephrase that, you can't build the terrain wrong. You build it however you want to build it. However, if you want to use the battlefield cards as they've been designed, sadly, there's only one way to build it with what's in the box. And I thought if one person sees it and it helps them, then it was probably worth my time making the video. I didn't expect it to kind of blow up the way it did, really. And the same kind of thing with the rules videos, what I do as well. They always do really well because you always get somebody that says, oh, well, we're all beginners. Why are you doing a rules beginners get wrong? We're all beginners kind of thing. But the thing is that those videos get viewed 6 months, 12 months down the line. I did the same kind of video for Shadespire. I did the same kind of video for Kill Team. And I still get questions on those videos like now. And they've been up for like, well, the Kill Team one's been up about a year. Shadespire one's probably been up about 18 months, nearly 2 years. People still come into the game new, see those videos and ask me questions. So this, I've got no doubt that this one will be the same. I've got another rules video that I just need to edit now as well. That's got another 5 rules that kind of people sometimes get wrong or maybe misunderstand. And that's been a big help from the community as well. People have commented on my video saying, what about this rule? Could you clarify that one? And it's the ones that people think are a bit weird or maybe are not as clear as they could be. There's some extra ones coming. think, for example, Sean, one of them is like, you showed a picture tonight about when you're up on that platform, how can you contest it? And somebody said if you jump up and then shoot them and then take the fallen rule, and actually you can't do that, mate. I'll explain why in the video. I'll not spoil it now because I want you to watch it. But yeah, you can't do what they were suggesting. Sean is saying there, new terrain set has some stairs that you don't glue the back on and don't glue the pillars on. Want to watch out for them, mate, then. Like I say, I haven't got it yet, so still waiting for it to deliver. 12 Nice in as well, says, just saying here, still at work, so can't stay. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. And I think Adam Edgar's just dropped in as well. He says, good morning, Blackjack Legends. I come from the future and Warcry is super popular and loads of fun. I knew you'd like it, mate. You're a big kill team player, so I knew you'd like it. Al is saying, I read that one shouldn't glue the back on the stairs. Yes, I'll have to look into that one, mate, and maybe I'll do that in a video. It's probably a bit late now, to be fair, but Douglas is saying, how do you store your terrain? So I don't know whether, I'll tell you what, I'll put a picture on the Facebook group tonight about where I store my terrain, but I've got basically like a kind of, the plastic sort of like buckets that you get in like little shelving units. I've got them in them, so that's where I normally store them. But I'll put a picture on the Facebook group so you can see it. We've got Bloggy in as well. Good evening, buddy. How have you been? Nice to see you. Long time no speak. 118 people in the chat we've got at the minute, and it's like 10:10. I tell you what, I have to kind of apologise and not apologise at the same time. So, like, I've been going for coming up 3 years in November. I've been doing this YouTube channel, and I've enjoyed every single kind of moment of it. And one of the biggest parts has been the community building around these Monday night live streams. And it's been a really, really strong community. Same people coming back every week. And I really, really appreciate like the support that I've had through that whole thing. Since I've kind of gotten into Warcry, and I appreciate that the channel's been very Warcry heavy, but I have to do the stuff that I'm enjoying. There's no point in me making videos about sort of stuff that I've never played or I'm not interested in. Just kind of keep it different. I'm going to be making Warcry content because this game's really kind of grabbed me. So there will be lots more Warcry content. And I appreciate that because of the Warcry stuff and how popular it is, it's gave my channel a boost, and these Monday nights have become very busy as well. And I feel like some of that, like that original community, might feel a little bit pushed out. So I do apologise if that's how you feel. However, you've also got to take it from my side. I put a lot of time and effort into making videos and all that kind of stuff. And when I'm really enjoying something, I'm sure that comes across on camera. And it just so happens it's something that a lot of people are enjoying as well. And these chats have become a lot busier. So I am kind of sorry that it's not what we used to do. But it's, without trying to sound arsey, it's my channel, and I have to do what I love, if you like. I have to do what I enjoy. So yeah, you will see more Warcry stuff. So either congratulations, you'll see loads more Warcry stuff, or I'm sorry, you'll see loads more Warcry stuff. Billy Markson, I don't think them spikes would even stay on without gluing them. Yeah, I didn't think so either, mate. They were a bit of a bitch to glue, if I'm honest. But yeah, it's one card, I think, and you can still make it work, so it's fine. Christopher Warden says, your video was the first time I found out about the terrain situation. Well, that was the other thing, because it had been posted a few times on Facebook, but what happens on Facebook is those posts get lost. They get pushed down, people stop commenting on them, they get pushed down the comments, and then new people joining the group, or people that haven't seen Facebook posts don't get to see them. YouTube I probably watch more YouTube than I do TV. If I'm searching for how to do something, whether it's fixing the dishwasher, or whether it's kind of like looking for a review on something, I Google it. I go to YouTube and I search for it on YouTube. I pretty much use YouTube as kind of like as Google now for a lot of stuff. So I thought, like I say, I'll do that video if it helps one or two people. I didn't expect the kind of reaction it got. John Cleve said, Warcry terrain fits back in the box perfectly when it's built. It probably does, except, I don't know, you might be able to see up on my shelf, I have all my boxes and I stand them all up that way, and everything would just fall to the bottom. So I've got like little storage bins for my stuff. BJ saying, all good, mate, as long as we get an occasional look in. What I'm going to try and do is, like I did a couple of weeks ago, was it last week? The one where I was talking about kind of, balance is basically a myth. I did focus it around Warcry because that's what I was thinking of at the time. However, it's one of those discussions that can be opened up to any gaming system. And with the Monday nights, unless there's something specific I really want to talk about when it comes to Warcry, I'll be opening them up to try and so you can talk about any game around that given subject if you like. So yeah, I'm going to try and balance it the best I can. But please give me feedback if you think if you think I'm leaving everybody behind or whatever it is. I'm not saying I'm going to change anything, but it's good to know and it's good to understand. Bloggy's just saying he's being crazy busy, but upcoming Marvel game has drawn me back in. It looks cool, mate, but it looks way too expensive. That's the only thing putting me off. I'll be here even if you're talking about a game I'd never heard of. Good videos speak for themselves. I appreciate that, mate. I like to think that this is just an opportunity to have something on in the background, and if you can get an extra hour and a half painting in that you probably wouldn't do while you've got me rabbiting on in the background, just to kind of give you a bit of background noise and feel part of a wider community if you're just sitting at home on your own and you maybe don't get to a gaming group. This channel's always been about trying to pull people together and try to be a bit of a kind of community together. So yeah, I'd like to think that it doesn't really matter what the game is, but you never know. I have had some feedback that some people are not happy, that's all. Black Cleric is saying, hopefully I can persuade you to like Star Trek Adventures as much as Warcry or my Facebook group postings. I love seeing, especially on the Facebook group, I love seeing what everybody's up to. Like, I love to see what they're painting. Doesn't matter what the game is. Star Trek's not really my thing, mate, but who knows? If the game's good enough, who knows? Glyn saying just under 70 subs to 6k. Yeah, I wasn't really going to talk about it really until I hit it, because I only hit 5,000 about 2.5 weeks ago. So I've really had a climb in the last month. This is my best ever month on YouTube, both from views, from watch time, from subscribers, everything. So when I do hit that 6,000, I'll put a little post up and just show you the impact that it's had on my channel. Stuart Noble, good evening, buddy. I'm not sure if you were in earlier on. I missed your name, but nice to see you, mate. He says, we'll never feel pushed out, mate. We want you to succeed, and what you do, we'll support. Thank you, buddy. I mean, that means a lot. Because at the end of the day, I do this because I love it. But it's nice to get a bit of success now and again as well. It's nice when you do a video and like more than 100 people watch it. Like, it's nice kind of like, and it's nice to see progression over time. I personally won't change, but the games I play probably will. Yeah. Oh, let's just jump on the top of the chat there again as well. Christian saying, don't worry, you'll get the support regardless of the focus of the chats or the videos. It's the quality and honesty people stay for. Thank you, mate. I do appreciate that. Skullmunch is saying, I'll be interested to see that video because I read the comments and see the suggestion. Then I checked the rules and read that I could. So interested to see why you think you can't. I'll chat with you separately, mate. But it's something to do with what people are saying is you don't check to fall until the end of your activation. However, any jumping or any movement, you check at the end of the action. That's the reason why, mate. Marvel games, £67.50 for the core set and £25.50 for the big heroes. Yeah, I think that's expensive though, mate. When you're starting to get like 25 quid for a model, for like it feels a lot. I don't know enough about it, but when I saw the prices, because it was like $30 I think it was a model, and that just felt like a lot of money. VGC, on a small aside from talking about Warcry, what do you do when someone you play against is consistently trying to find ways to game the rules? I tend not to play them again, mate, if I'm honest. I'm all about the fun. Like, I do play in tournaments, but I tend to play in tournaments because it's an opportunity to play more games and meet some new people and have days away and kind of go to new places and like see different like warbands and see different armies I probably wouldn't play against. If somebody's trying to game the system a little bit, it just puts me off because it doesn't really feel like it's played like in the right spirit. If you like, it doesn't feel like it's played in the spirit the game was intended. Yeah, so I tend not to play them again if I'm honest. He's saying, unfortunately, playing them's not an option. He's a very old mate, but I need him to understand how much it bothers me. Right, in that case, that's a bit of a different question. Is it certain games where he games it, or does he always sort of... It doesn't not matter what game he plays, he always tries to kind of find the loophole? Because that's... Have you just tried telling him? I mean, to be perfectly frank, have you just tried saying to him, like, look, mate, you're taking it a bit far here, like, it's just a bit of fun, we're pushing toys around the table. Find out why he does that. Is that the part he enjoys? Because I guess everybody gets their enjoyment from the hobby in different ways. Matt saying, love Warcry content, but you can say sorry to my wallet for preying on my weakness to toy soldiers. Sorry, man. There's a few people who have said they bought this because of me, and whilst that's very nice, I want to really clarify, I don't make any money from selling games to people, no matter where you buy it from. So they are just opinions. And I know a lot of people have kind of like followed my channel for a while, and they tend to think like they can tell my taste in games, so they know if I like something, they'll probably like something. But that's no different from watching the kind of like a games reviewer online, or maybe watching a movie reviewer or something like that. So yeah, I hope nobody feels like I'm forcing them to buy stuff. Tom saying 100% agree. It's BJ's BJ's personality and outlook that would keep me here. Thank you very much, folks. I need you, Tariff Son. That's what I'll say. You, Tariff Son. Speaking of other games, have you tried Frostgrave? My group had 2 games yesterday using Warcry terrain, and it worked quite well. I've never played Frostgrave, mate. One of the reasons I've never played it is I was never really into that kind of narrative game, and I'm always a bit funny about games that don't have like their own kind of model range. I've talked about this before, that I don't really like games where I can't just instantly identify what something is. I do know Frostgrave has some models now, but it never used to when I first looked at it. But no, I've never played it, mate. Alan saying, Andy's... Oh, I was just listening to see that. I thought I'd heard my son there. Andy Smith saying, hey up, good evening, buddy. Alan Royce saying, got your pre-order for the new Kings of War starter set yet? No, mate, I won't be buying the starter set for Kings of War. It's first of all, I don't need it. I'm in the middle of building my my Abyssal army that's over there as well. So that was something I already started. I just don't feel the need to buy the starter set really. There's not much of a local scene around here as well. There's a few people playing now, but yeah, I don't think I'll be buying the starter set. And some of the new rules and stuff like that, the rule books, not particularly cheap, which I was quite surprised at. But yeah, I think I like the idea of Kings of War. I want to try Kings of War, but I'm not invested enough to be buying starter sets and all that kind of stuff. Carries in as well. Good evening, buddy. Jamie says 10k and free GW stuff. Yeah, I can't see that happening anytime soon, mate. Fnord K's in. He says hello. Mark Cole, he says 6,000 sub mug draw. I promise I should hit 6,000 subs this week. So next Monday we'll do a mug giveaway, okay? And what I'll also do is, well, I'll give one away in the Facebook group. So anybody that's watching this that isn't a member of the Facebook group, there's a link in the description below. Head across and join the Facebook group community as well. We just basically, it's all everybody sharing what they're up to, like what they're painting, what they're playing. So I'll do one giveaway in the Facebook group, and I'll do one on the live chat next week. Jamie said, apart from my affiliate link where I make piles of gold, I'll tell you how much money I've made, mate. I've made about 100 quid over the last year from that affiliate link, and £50 of it is sitting in the account to be paid out. So I haven't actually seen that yet. Jamie, Baz is in as well. Good evening, Bazza. How are you doing? Steve says, I'll carry on watching, mate, but less chatting. Love the Monday night chats, so keep them coming. Thank you, buddy. Adam says he hates it when people take games so seriously. It's supposed to be fun. I'd rather play my dollies against someone more laid back. BJ says he was fairly well ranked Magic player. No matter what game we play, always seems to find a way to break it. Yeah, some people they look for the loopholes constantly, don't they? That's just how they get their enjoyment, sadly. Declan Canvan's in. Good evening, buddy. Says, just curious which warband's been your favourite. PS, love any and all content you've done. Thank you for the kind words, buddy. So far, I've only played the first 3. So I think Cypher Lord's going to take a little bit more working out. But I've really enjoyed the Untamed Beasts, I think, of the original 3. I'm still waiting for my other 3 to be delivered. So I've not played any of the other ones yet. Matt said, in fairness, it was on my radar. However, I told him it was your fault. Thanks, mate. Your Tariff Son is saying GW games are, in my opinion, more intended as narrative beer and pretzel games. Pushing them for hardcore tournament play seems weird when there are a lot of companies out there who do that part of the hobby better. I think the problem is, mate, is that they want to think that their games are more narrative. They're more. They've always said they're a model company first, and they're a rules writer second. However, they're so popular that there's a part of the community. I can't say how big it is because they're a vocal part, but I'm not sure whether they're the biggest. I would assume the biggest part of the community are just people who play at home and play in the garages and that kind of stuff. But there's quite a vocal part of the community that really want the games to be competitive. Look at how 40k is. Look at how Shadespire is or Underworlds went very competitive, and you hardly see it get played like sort of outside of competitive events. I'm not sure Warcry will go the same way. I think the organised player kits, of which actually I'll pop it up on the screen. These are the organised player kits for Warcry. They look really nice. Those medals look cool, and I really like those like acrylic tokens as well. So I'll definitely be trying to play somewhere to get my hands on some of those. Yeah, I like the fact that they've brought these in to try and get people into stores to play their games. But yeah, I'm not sure this is going to become like an uber competitive game. VGA says, I know I should probably just sit and talk about it. I do say things at a time, but I wish you would stop. But I think you're just used to doing it. I think it's one of them things, mate. If you're good enough mates, you've just got to kind of be direct with them, I think, and just go, look, man, it's really kind of it's spoiling my enjoyment. Can we not just play for fun, kind of thing? Claudio saying, wow, we're at 5,900. That was fast. Yeah, it's gone quite quick, mate. I've had about 800 subscribers or something in the last 2 weeks or something like that. It's been a bit nuts. Paul Palm says, bet you I can't make it next Monday. I'll include you in the draw, mate. Don't worry. If you're in the Facebook group, at least you got a chance to do it in there anyway. Peter saying, in the past when a gaming buddy used to stretch the rules, I pulled out a squelch card. Maybe me saying the previous term was null and void. Brian Schmidt said he's loving Warcry. Got 3 games in yesterday in under 2.5 hours. That's the beauty of it, mate, isn't it? Definitely. Funball saying there, he's intro to Mordheim way back maybe 15 years ago, was a group with min-max tendencies. Put me off game pretty much, unfortunately. It's what put me off Warhammer 40k. I had one demo game by somebody who played exactly like that. Basically made a few rules up that I realised later on to make sure that he won the game. And it wasn't a very good experience, and I basically sold all of my models that I'd painted up over the last 12 months and ditched them and got into Malifaux instead. And that put me off 40k for a long, long time. And purely just down to playing the wrong person for my first game, really. I just didn't enjoy it, and I thought the game was awful at that point. Just didn't have any fun in it, and I didn't feel like I needed to try it again. So, and I've struggled to get back into it ever since then because it's really hard to kind of build an army of that size. Uterson saying Warcry and Kill Team seem to be the exceptions where they actually try to support tournaments. Yeah, it's nice to see. I think these smaller play size games are right up my street, and I think they're ideal for kind of for gaming stores as well. They don't take up too much space. Zingbo said it's much easier to judge how a larger competitive scene is, much harder to judge how many people are playing small groups. 100%, and I think that's where people get a little bit mixed. Excuse me, my throat's really dry. I think that's where people get a bit mixed up. I think they think that games like 40k are all about the tournaments, and actually tournament gamers are a relatively small portion of the gaming sort of market, I guess. If you think like tournaments get like, even the big tournaments get maybe a couple of hundred people, there's a lot more than that, like kind of just playing casually with friends or at gaming groups. Adam says, I think Warcry will be promoted the way Kill Team was. There'll be campaigns and tournaments. We'll get a good 6 months out of it. If you get close to 10,000 subs, you keep get you close to 10,000 subs if you keep the content up. I think it's got legs beyond that. For me personally, I tend to get quite involved in these, like sort of the background to these games and trying to understand sort of the business side of it. The business side of tabletop gaming really does interest me, and I feel like Warcry is just better prepped. There's just something about it. I can't really put my finger on now, and when I can, I'll make a video about it. But it just feels like it's set up on a much more stable platform than Kill Team was. We'll see as the new releases come out, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. Glenn saying they should do alternate unit cards for some of the warbands as OP rewards, like the same stats but a picture of other models. Yeah, alternate cards, I think, are great things to do for organised player. 100%. I don't like it when they put things in organised player that are exclusive to organised player. So, for example, if they put a warband for like a factions warband cards or like a leader's card that you couldn't get elsewhere, I don't like it when they do that. But when it's just alternative art stuff, I really do like that stuff. Robert says his battery's dying. Everyone have a good week. Thanks for coming in, mate. AMC says, think they're taking the Rock Tusk Prowlers and using 2 Fenrisian Wolves. Yeah, the Fenrisian Wolves are nice models as well, mind, aren't they? Bit of chat there about WAFCON. Skullmuncher saying to Peter, I need to go solar power and sit in the sun. Goresk says, had 3 games of Warcry at Warhammer World on Sunday and loved it. I was just chatting with Jason yesterday when we were in the pub. We're going to have a trip to Warhammer World soon. We're going to pop down one weekend. So when we do go down, I'll mention it. We're not going to have any kind of special meetup or anything like that. We're just going to go down and play a few games of Warcry and have a look around the museum and stuff. But if anybody's around or anybody wants to make the trip that day and come and say hello, I'll make sure that I kind of let everybody know when I'm going. But it's not like an organised meetup or anything like that. We'll just say hi. And Claudio says there, he's having a chat with Steve. He's taking some reps. Michael Marine says, my local group's barely returning to 40k. We're all coming in under the pretense of having fun and using models we think are cool. We're all burned out from the crazy min-max dudes that ruin fun. That's always kind of been what's put me off. I mean, it's what burned me off with AOS, if I'm honest. My local group are a bunch of really, really nice guys, but they were all massively into the tournament scene at the time. And it wasn't like serious. Like, they were still having a laugh and they were still having fun, but the lists they were building were always about tournament practice, and that just wasn't me. Basically, I was just looking for a bit of fun. I ended up with an army basically that just was a waste of time against everybody's kind of tournament lists, and it bummed me out a little bit, and I stopped going. And then now we've got to the point where I can't actually go back because Thursday is when it's on. It's too busy for me. But yeah, that was what kind of put me off, really. That when everything feels like it's about a tournament or it's tournament practice or it's kind of trying to build this all powerful list, I'm just not that kind of gamer. I tend to pick the cool models, and that's about it, really. Adam saying, maybe you're right, may end up like Warhammer Underworlds with Season 2 and 3, adding alternatives to the game. Hard to know there. Though GW always has so much coming out, it's hard to gauge. I just feel like, because of the narrative aspect of this, the narrative stuff in Kill Team was pretty awful, if I'm honest. Because the rule set's so much more simple, because we've got some new factions in this, it feels a bit more like kind of Necromunda, the way Necromunda's just very quietly in the background, going about its thing, building up its community. It hasn't got that big kind of tournament stuff, so you don't hear about it all the time. But there's new stuff. There's new stuff coming all the time, and there's a good solid community behind it playing it. Like any videos I've done about Necromunda, like, get watched all the time. There's still some of my most successful videos, and all I'm doing is comparing it to Kill Team, really, or seeing like what the latest stuff is for Necromunda. There's a big Necromunda community. Same with Blood Bowl, big Blood Bowl community that goes around in the background. But because it's not like the latest hotness, it seems to get forgotten about. And I think Warcry is going to go exactly the same way. It's going to be well supported. It's going to be well played. It's going to have a really strong community. The community on Facebook at the minute seem to be one of the nicest GW communities I've come across. It doesn't seem to be any kind of... The people that would normally be them kind of like min-max kind of aggressive players seem to have like dismissed it because of the very simple rule set. So the people that seem to be left seem to be quite a kind of quite a cool community. So I'm enjoying it at the minute. I'm enjoying it. Adam's saying, my experience with AOS exactly the same, but in sunny Brisbane. That's it, mate. Other side of the world, and we still have the same experience. Peter's saying, do I think Warcry will get even more add-ons than Kill Team? I think Kill Team seem to like fade away a little bit. I can't see that happening with Warcry. I think they'll support it a bit more. I think Kill Team was almost a way to sell, like, get you into it, and then basically, because the model range already existed, they could almost like step away from it and just go, well, all the models are there. Just buy the models. It's fine. We don't need to do anything anymore now. Warcry feels very different. There's a real thematic setting around it. There wasn't really a theme around Kill Team. It was always like 40k light. It was almost like mini 40k. Warcry feels like its own thing in much the same way Necromunda feels like its own thing. Matt's saying, for me, it's always about the models. I don't want to paint models I can't get excited about. 100% for me as well, mate. I hate painting stuff just just because I have to field it kind of thing. But we'll say shout for Blood Bowl. I wonder where your name comes from, buddy. Cardos is in. He says, sorry I'm late. Made some pasta for the lady. Well, welcome, buddy, but we're about to finish now, so I apologise. You have to go back and watch it from the start. Your Tariff Son says, unlike Necromunda, Warcry actually has a sane release schedule, so maybe that'll cause it to stay. Necromunda nearly kind of fell on its backside when it got started because the release schedule was awful. But they seem to have managed to get that together now over a period of time, and they've tied up the rulebook and stuff. That's what I mean. It just feels like Warcry's had a bit more big forethought about it from the start. Michael saying, that was my thoughts on Kill Team. An upsell to jump into 40k. Warcry definitely feels like its own game. And Adam saying that add-ons seem to kill the love for Kill Team. Everyone I know prefers the original one. I'm the same. I still go back and play original Kill Team. I don't include any of the kind of specialisms. I forget about the command cards. Still just have fun with the game. And like it's almost like Warcry is what I wanted Kill Team to be, really, I think. Al says, couldn't agree more about Warcry community. Just way more laid back as it should be. It's a chaotic, crazy game. You win some, you lose some. Enjoy it either way. Yeah, that seems to be my thoughts as well. And Zingbo's there saying, I think a GW wanted to kill Team to feed players into 40k. It hasn't really worked out like that. Yeah, I think it was always meant to be that kind of feeder into 40k, where I think Warcry is just meant to be a GW skirmish game. And if people then move on to AOS, so much the better for them. But I think it was always designed to be its own kind of standalone game, really. Brian saying Kill Team became a bloated mess. Yeah, I do worry that it could go that way, but I'm crossing my fingers that it doesn't. Paul says, been very tired after a long walk in the sun, but enjoyed the show. Thanks, Andy, and thanks, Paul. Well, on that, I think we will call that a night. So, thank you very much, everybody. We've had a really, really good turnout tonight. Really good crowd. Amazing chat. Really appreciate everybody joining in. We did talk about what the future may hold, and we kind of got off topic a little bit, as we sometimes do. But it was all fun anyway. If you've enjoyed this and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do consider subscribing. If you'd like to support the future of the channel and make it be a viable thing into the future as well, and try and help me to kind of put more time into it, please do consider my Patreon. Or you can also have a look at my affiliate links, or I do also sell t-shirts as well. So all of those links are in the description of the video. I'm not much of a salesman, just kind of, if you want to help, go and have a look. Choice is entirely yours. But thank you everybody for watching. I will see you on Wednesday in my next video. So there's a video on Wednesday. I'm going to try and get into a routine of Monday live streams, Wednesday videos. So we'll try and keep that kind of schedule going. So yeah, I'll see you on Wednesday in the next video, and I'll see you next week on Monday Night Livestream. So thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.